Well, hello there, and you join us here today to uncover 10 brand new watches that you definitely don't want to miss. If new's not your thing and you're looking for pre-owned, you can buy, sell and trade at watchfinder.com. Link in the description below. Thank you. Hello there, Tom. It's always a good day when we talk about brand new watches, and today we're going to talk about 10. Why don't you start us off with something new and shiny?
I'd love to. Right, okay, starting off then with a new Timex. This is the Timex IYKYK collaboration series with Second episodes 1 and 2. So what does that mean? So Second is a French creative and just general all-round mystery fella, and he swaps the second hands on vintage watches in the name of vandalism, fun, profit. I'm not really sure.
He's like the Banksy of watches.
I was going to say that, but that seemed too obvious. I think that I didn't know if that might upset him. But anyway, yeah. Broad strokes, think the Banksy of watches. And he also does, now he's doing exciting collabs with other brands, and this is one with Timex. And so the IYKYK presumably stands for if you know, you know. I don't think they state it anywhere, but that's my guess. So if you know, you know. You might know the nicknames for a couple of popular colour combos on iconic watches, specifically the bezels. And if you know, you know, then you will understand the meaning of the second hands that Second has added to these Timex watches. So you've got the blue and black bezeled Timex reissue with a second hand that says slap, and it's in a kind of explosive comic book style. And then you've got the red and blue bezeled Q Timex reissue with a second hand that looks like a curly drinking straw. And I'm not going to connect the dots for you, and nor is Timex, but it should be pretty obvious what those mean. I've got a feeling these are going to be very collectible. The Batman one, I mean, the blue and black one is £280. And the Pepsi one, the red and blue one, I mean, is £180, but they're all gone already. Sold out.
Oh.
Shame, isn't it?
Am I being stupid? I have no idea what either of these mean.
Are you being stupid?
I thought the drinking straw one was a hockey stick.
Why is there a Canadian twig on this one?
I may just be jet-lagged, but I'm looking at it and I'm thinking...
Well, presumably it's... You drink Pepsi with a straw, always. Batman... Everyone, when they think of Batman, thinks of the campy 60s TV show and the graphics that would denote impacts. So that's Second's thinking there.
Both of those things make sense. Thank you for updating my brain.
Interestingly, these on the box, you can see this. There's ticks in the various episodes that these watches refer to, and there's potentially 6, so there could be 4 more to come. So there'll be other opportunities to get Timexes with customized second hands. I would have got these, but I was too preoccupied with a glitch which occurred on the Timex website, which made everything free. So I was busy running around adding things to basket for no money. And then I missed this drop, unfortunately. And then they didn't fulfill my order anyway, so I'm doubly sad.
So in the immortal words of every Dark Souls player ever, you got greedy.
I did indeed.
Tom, speaking of getting greedy, this is a double combination complication that's never been seen before. This is the Louis Vuitton times Acrivia LV-RR01 chronograph, a sonnery. This has been built with LV alongside Recep Recep'i, who is famed for his Acrivia watches, which are incredibly well made and incredibly sought after. You'll notice, for the first time ever in fact, that the LV logo, the Louis Vuitton logo, is embedded into the Acrivia logo using the V as its little hidey hole. This watch has the tambour case made by master casemaker Jean-Pierre Hagman. Tambour meaning, yes, a small drum with a diameter of 39.5mm and a thickness of just 11.9mm. And it gets a face on the front and the back. On the front is a tinted sapphire dial, so you can see the sonnery mechanism alongside the 5-minute tourbillon, and on the back is a white Grand Fouet enamel chronograph dial. So this is a mono-pusher chronograph with the pusher at around 1 o'clock. But what it does is when you start that chronograph, every single minute you will hear a chime. So it's not entirely unique because there was a Speedmaster chronograph with a chiming complication, but not in this way with the chime every minute. And if that wasn't enough, this very expensive and very limited watch will also come in a customized Louis Vuitton trunk, which you can take on holiday with you and show off, that's what I believe people do with Louis Vuitton trunks.
The trunk is incredible. It looks like Jumanji or something. It's impeccably made.
There's no junk in this trunk. It's all quality.
Dare I ask how much this would set me back?
There are only 10 being made, so of course they're going to be rather pricey and will cost you the princely sum of 450,000 Swiss francs.
That's more than I was expecting. That's fine. That's fine. I've got something else in mind anyway. This is the League of Legends times G-Shock collaborations. So here's 2 collaboration watches based on the hit MOBA by Riot Games, League of Legends. So, 2 watches, 2 collaborations. The first one is based on one of the champions in the game, Jinx. Out of 150 champions, they chose her. Not sure why. It must be everybody's favourite. So that's a 110 series G-Shock with a really wild and vivid design. Very cool indeed. I mean, I quite just like it. You know, collaboration aside, I think that just looks like a cool watch. But the design is there to evoke Jinx's signature weapon, the Super Mega Death Rocket. It just keeps getting better, doesn't it? The small hand is shaped like Jinx's rocket there on the inset dial at the 9 o'clock position. And there's loads of other fun LOL references in and about the place of this watch. So that's $200 for that one. Pretty cool. If they did a Splatoon version of this, I'd be all over it. But yeah, League of Legends, fine. The second one is an octagonal 2100 series G-Shock in full metal. Not based on any specific character this time, but instead is a fusion of magic, science, and technology. So far, it's reading like any Swiss watch, isn't it? But this has a worn metal, aged gold aesthetic with pops of bright blue to evoke the magical Hextech technology, so important to the Runeterra world in League of Legends. The Piltover coat of arms is engraved on a band piece. Don't know what that means, but that evokes the city where this magical technology was born. So there you go, $1,099 for that one. Both very cool collabs. They look good. I'm sure they'll please the fans. G-Shock doesn't make any mention of limited edition, but Riot does on their merchandise page, so get them while you can, I would say.
You said so many things there, Tom, and now I feel very old. Let's bring back Tetris. There's a movie.
Yes.
Tom, let's take it from the future of video games and technology and go back to the 1960s, because this is the MAN Skymaster 38 Mark III in collaboration with us.
Who?
We did a watch. We made a thing, Tom.
Wow.
This is a limited edition by Time, and it's only available until the 16th of October, which is tomorrow, so don't miss out. It's 1,800 euros, and it combines all of my favourite things about 60s chronographs into one watch. You know when they say, if you want something done right, you've got to do it yourself? That's what I thought with this. I wanted to see Paul Newman-esque exotic dial, I wanted to see splashes of red, and I wanted to have a tropical brown. Now that sounds awful, Tom, and it's not. No. Thankfully.
It works. It just works.
Because this 38mm steel case contains a sunburst brown dial that in some lights is completely black and in others is a sparkly golden hue. Some might say, well, that's just a Paul Newman, but actually the point of this is to highlight that in the 1960s, a company called Singer developed the exotic dial, and they sold that to at least 10 other watchmakers, including Rolex, who made it famous, but there were many others, including amongst others Longines, Boukhara, and Nevada. Like I say, this watch is very limited. You only have until the 16th of October to pick one up, and once it's gone, and don't come crying to me.
Lovely. You've done well there. I was expecting it to be more like the Homer, but it's actually quite a shrewd design.
Oh.
Well done to the watchmakers at Man for putting a brave face on it and sticking with it. I know Andrew's not the easiest person to work with.
I was a brat.
Yeah. Cool, yeah, it looks good. Can I borrow some money to buy it?
No.
Okay, cool. Moving on then to a new model from Baltic. This is the Baltic Hermetique collection. So you've got 4 versatile 37mm diameter field watches designed for exploration and ideal for everyday use in 4 lovely colours. You've got green, beige, blue and brown, a nice double dome sapphire crystal, with an automatic Miyota 9039 inside and 150 metres of water resistance. So you've got some lovely details. You've got nice polished syringe hands, a railway sector around the edge of the dial. The coloured matte dial is encircled by 2 polished steel blades. You've got these ultra legible numerals and markers in Superluminova C3X1 appliques. Really thick, chunky applied markers there. They remind me a little bit of letter magnets that you would spell out things on the fridge with.
Yes.
Which, really nice, really tactile and sumptuous. Such depth. Just a really, really nice selection for €550 a piece, which I think is pretty good going, really, for such a handsome looking watch. If someone were to invite you to their yacht party and specified that you wear an Omega Aquaterra, I think you could turn up wearing this and I don't think they'd bat an eyelid. Awesome.
It's got flavours of sector dial. That inset crown is very interesting, isn't it? And the applied luminous markers too, which is a little bit like the Tudor Black Bay Pro with its chunky pieces of lume. Baltic can do no wrong. They really can't. It's a very good addition to their collection. And I imagine, Tom, that the blue one has got your name written all over it if your name was Baltic Hermetique.
That's my middle name.
Tom, this one's a kind of unusual one. We'll go through what's usual first and then get on to what's unusual second. This is the Matter of Time Astor & Banks Founders Edition. It is a 38.5mm wide, 11.25mm thick steel watch. Looks fairly straightforward. Antimagnetic, sapphire crystal, Miyota 9039 automatic movement, 200 meters of water resistance, and it is $1,000. Very much evokes the look of the Grand Seiko SPGV 245 with its chunky case with brushed bezel and brushed dial. But here's where things start to get a little bit different, because Matter of Time, they're trying to do things differently. So you purchase this watch on 2 conditions. One condition is that the owner must document their time with this watch. So say what they did with it, where they went with it, who they punched with it, that kind of thing. The second thing is the owner must give the watch away within 2 years of ownership to someone else. And that will be recorded, and that person that they give it away to will then record their time with it and give it away, and so on and so forth. The idea is that you give it to someone who has done a good deed or achieved something, had a great accomplishment, and so the watch becomes a time capsule for the future with the history of its owners and their experiences documented online. Every series of watch will be created with a different independent watchmaker, and 50% of the revenue goes to a good cause. So it's not a crazy unusual watch itself, it's rather handsome, but the concept itself, it's like Patek Philippe, but with good meaning.
Yeah, that's a really intriguing concept. I like that. So Astor & Banks, that's a watch brand, right? I've not heard of those before, but they're the first brand to partake in this idea, right?
Correct.
Cool. So we could potentially see more brands getting on board and creating their own time capsule watches. That's exciting. So it's up to the owner's discretion to just pass it along to whoever they like, right?
If you don't, the people from Matter of Time will come to your house and break your face off. I don't think that's true.
The only thing that does concern me is it sounds a little bit like homework. You have to write a watch diary at the end of each day.
Well, you can lie on your front on the end of your bed, kicking your legs in the air. Dear Watch Diary, today I met a boy. I sincerely hope eventually this comes full circle and they collaborate with Patek Philippe on it. That'd be amazing, yeah. I think the world would implode.
Cool, yeah. I can't imagine how depressing it would be to receive a watch after 2 years and realise it's had a more enriching life than you had in that time, but good stuff, I like it. Okay, cool, right. So some more fun now from Citizen. This is the Tsukiyomi radio-controlled Moonface. So Tsukiyomi, directly translating to reading the moon, features a new radio-controlled EcoDrive caliber H874 movement, and this is the world's first light-powered radio-controlled Moonface movement in celebration of the 30th anniversary of the first Citizen radio-controlled watch, and it's a fully analog Moonface function for a light-powered watch. So it's based on a unique mathematical formula developed by Citizen called Lunar Program, which sounds very clever. The boffins at Citizen have been cooking this up for a while, I guess. So the watch calculates the moon phase of the moon each day from signals received from multi-band radio transmitters. And then the phase of the moon at the 6 o'clock position on the watch is then automatically adjusted and displayed. So yeah, features on the watch, you've got a moon surface on the dial, which is very bold and exciting. You've got a black outer ring and date display at the 4 o'clock position. It's in 43mm super titanium case with 100 meters of water resistance. And of course, yeah, the EcoDrive technology in there, which is solar powered by any light. So you don't have to worry about it running out and you losing track of the moon. So yeah, £595 for a very cool new technology from Citizen.
I love the depiction of the moon on the dial, available in a multitude of colours, and you know a watch is going to be complicated. One, when you look at it and it has letters and numbers all over it that make no sense on a typical watch, but also when the instruction manual is linked directly on the product page, which is, I had a look, it's 11 pages, and it's all in English. This is a very, very complicated watch, and I think is going to be harder than Dark Souls. Tom, do you remember the Girard-Perregaux Constant Escapement LM that came out in 2013 with the bistable properties of buckling silicon? Of course you do.
Yeah, sure.
There was a 2013 watch which incorporated in its escapement the bistable properties of silicon by using a buckling form. So the way a light switch works, you can't ever get it in the middle. It has to be one way or the other. And that's how this works too, by using that snap, snap, snap of a silicon blade. A bit like if you have a playing card and you push it backwards and forwards between your fingers. In order to create a constant force. So as a mainspring winds down, the torque it produces lessens, and so that can change your timekeeping capabilities. If you have a force in which it has to overcome, that torque can then be measured out. So it has to build to a point where that silicon blade can be snapped from one position to the other, and that means every time it does, you get the same torque. So you get a constant force. Now, the problem with that watch, aside from being incredibly expensive, over £120,000, was it was 48mm, which was huge. But they have updated it for the Neo Constant Escapement, which is now 45mm in titanium. The caliber GP09200 gets 2 barrels and a power reserve indicator, which will last for 7 days. And as well as having the exposed mainspring barrels and escapement on the front, you can also see the exposed gear train on the back. The price has been reduced, but don't get too excited. It is still £84,700. But it's great to see that escapement come back, because it was a huge development, figuratively and literally, and sort of disappeared. But it's back. If you missed it, here it is. Grab your wallets.
I will. I've been looking for a watch that resembles a robot that was putting on purple lipstick on a bumpy car ride when you squint. So this is great for me. Okay then. Next, we've got another Tudor Pelagos Fxd. It's been a little while since they released one, so here's another one. So this is a new Pelagos Fxd that pays tributes to decades of Tudor watches on the wrists of the US Navy divers. But the key takeaway here is it's black with some red stuff on it. So you've got the 42mm satin brushed titanium case, of course, with those fixed strapped bars, hence the FXD. You got your nice unidirectional rotating bezel there with all the notches there, which looks very cool. You've got a matte black dial with lots of jollops of superluminova all over the applied markers. Snowflake hands, yeah, famous snowflake hands. And the manufacturer caliber MT5602, certified by the Swiss Official Chronometer Testing Institute, or COSC to you and me, with a hairspring in silicon and a 70-hour power reserve. And of course, a one-piece fabric strap, which just gives it that cool mil-spec vibe in forest green and red. Very nice watch. The Pelagos is a cool watch. So we originally had it in just blue, and then there was the purpley kind of Red Bull Arigato, or whatever that was called, the racing team.
Alinghi team.
Alinghi, yeah, thank you, Andrew. And now we've got it in black. So there you go. There's your trio of FXDs. So pick your favourite and move along.
Tudor has a long history of supplying the US Navy with its watches. I guess they couldn't afford the Rolex. In actual fact, the US Navy back in the day rejected the Rolex Submariner from its testing for being, well, not verbatim, this quote, but they said something like it was crap. I think it's improved since, and this particular Tudor has been based on a watch, so the internet says, that was originally a limited edition for the US Navy SEALs, SEAL Team 6. The SEALs have been supplied Tudors in the past before, and it seems like they still are. This is a pretty cool special edition if you want to channel your inner Navy SEAL and go on some special ops missions in your back garden at night. You might remember recently, Tom, that Swatch did a collaboration with Blancpain, and we were all wondering why. Well, now that question has been answered, because that $400 watch has been created as an advertisement for this, the Blancpain 50 Fathoms Act 3. Now, I appear to have missed Act 1 and Act 2. I think I got there late and they made me wait outside. This is based on the mil-spec design, which you can get in the Swatch collection. This is the one with the what looks like a paracetamol on the dial. It's not, it's a moisture indicator. Back in the day when the first dive watches were created, of which the 50 Fathoms was that, the users of them weren't entirely sure that the sealing was going to be fully functional. So they put these moisture indicators in so the next user of the watch who was supplied on a new mission could tell that it hadn't been compromised. This is in 41.3 millimeters in 9 carat gold, but bronze gold. So you know the kind of gold you get in Lizzie Dukes for the cheap jewellery, like that little gold clown, 9 carat. It's that. Right. What makes up the remainder of the gold is the constituents of bronze, so they're calling it bronze gold. Inside is the caliber 1154 P2. There's 300 meters of water resistance, 100 hours of power reserve, and it's a 555 piece limited edition. You will be surprised to learn the price, Tom, for a 9 carat gold watch. It is $32,000.
What's the sort of longevity of a watch like this? Can I get it serviced and it will keep running for a long time? Or when it's sort of stopped running, do I just throw it in the ocean so it strangles a sea slug? What can you tell me more about that?
Thankfully, they have upgraded that ability of this watch to break on first use to one that is actually serviceable. The caliber 1154 P2 is a rather nice piece of mechanical artistry, which you can see through the sapphire caseback. In case you're wondering if this is a fully anti-magnetic watch, it is as well, despite the sapphire caseback, through the use of clever materials in that movement.
Okay, I'll think about it. I might just get the cheap plastic one. Dunno.
So there you have it. 10 new watches, many different stories, many different prices. Which one do you like most? Let us know down in the comments below. And if you are looking to purchase a watch, check out one pre-owned over at watchfinder.com, where you can buy, sell, and of course, trade. Thank you so much. Goodbye.